So with your permission, can we have some audience interaction with you? Thank you very much. So would there be any questions or, yeah. So can I request the mic runners to please? Request you to keep your questions, observations brief and positive.
Hello, sir. I'm Akhilesh. Firstly, as we have administration from across India, I would like to share, I have been to many global innovation hubs, a lot of youth summits and sustainable symposiums, sir. But honestly, I'd like to say of all the innovations, innovators and startups, I'd like to confess among all that that man there, Manna, is the best innovator. My state, Telangana, is the best startup.
Thank you. Appreciate.
Sir, a question and a request, sir. Question. And if the answer to my question is yes, I want to, from the forum, through you, put a request to our CM, sir. Question, sir. As in the recent past, we have had Impact Summit, a sustainable summit by Balavikas NGO. Today, we are celebrating Inkwash by ASCAI. We have the various sub T, V, Y, S, A to Z, I'm sure, in the near future. Since we are imbibing all the global innovation and practice in them, can we draft out an exclusive ministry for sustainability and innovation, sir? And my request, sir, please say yes, let us lead the way. Thank you, sir.
What's your name? I'm sorry?
Akhilesh, sir.
Thank you, Akhilesh. Akhilesh, firstly, thank you for all the generous compliments. You're very kind of you to say that. Let me get up. Otherwise, I'm going to look very old. I'll just say one thing. You know, Constitution of India actually mandates that only 15% of the legislators can, the number of ministries is linked to the number of, legislators. So therefore, there are only 18 ministers, including the chief minister in Telangana. So unfortunately, I don't know if we can actually have a minister who's looking dedicatedly at this, but I'm sure sustainability, because Honorable Chief Minister himself is a huge environmentalist, so definitely a great idea. I'll pass it on to him. Hopefully he'll say yes. Thank you, Akhilesh. Thank you.
So we can recommend Professor Chari's name for that.
She wants you to be the minister leading. Anybody else? All right, are we done?
Yes, next question. Lady there.
Hi.
Hi, my name is Itosha. I'm from an organization called Waste Warriors from Himachal.
Can we stop doing that with lights, please? Sorry, ma'am.
Yeah, so I'm Itosha. I'm from an organization called Waste Warriors from Himachal. We work in the mountainous regions in waste management, collecting waste from the households, communities, businesses, any establishment you name, and we try to process it and send it for recycling. But again, the IEC, we have been talking for the last 2 days about a lot of innovations, a lot of processes, a lot of products that are there. But I don't know whether it has been missed out or whether it is me that, because I work in the IEC part more, it's kind of a thing that I've been looking forward as an innovator in IEC, which is something that I think I expect from the government to be partners to scale up at a level where NGOs like us or any enterprises can actually work on the ground, on the IEC part, on the awareness part, or all these innovations will come to a standstill.
Absolutely. What's your name again? I'm sorry.
Itosha. Itosha.
Itosha?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Itosha. Yeah, I thought it was Ekosha, and I thought you were. Thank you.
Yeah.
Firstly, I completely agree with you. There needs to be a lot more awareness, a lot more information campaigns, and a lot more hangama around what we do. I think, without a question, unless that good word starts spreading and good practices, in fact, start spreading, and unless we start inculcating this discipline among our youngsters and school children from a very young age as part of the curriculum, things will not change in our country. Without a question, our government of Telangana, of course, is committed. We will certainly continue to work. And one of the things I firmly believe in is, I think when we talk about sustainable development, what we are really saying is not just entrepreneurs, but ecopreneurs, people who are conscious of ecology, conscious of environment, and conscious of what, all the things that are happening in the world in terms of climate change and everything else that goes with it. So from my government, I can commit, but I can't commit for Himachal government, unfortunately. मैं हमारे government के तरफ से तो I pledge full support, full commitment. I'm on social media big time, and if we have to connect to the youngsters of today, we have to, put it out there in social media as well. So I request all of you who have attended here, all the 600 plus or 700 plus, please use your social media platform not to spread hate, but love, but great ideas like this, and spread the word. I think that's the way, that's the best IEC. Government doing it or one individual doing it won't cut it. I think we all have to collectively spread the good word and use these digital platforms to best effect. I'll do my bit, I promise you. Thank you,
Thank you,
Hitosha.
sir.
Anyone else would like to have a question? Smita ji here? Here. We have a few more mic runners, please.
Namaste, sir. Smita again. Here, the request is that rather than government and the ULBs trying to come out with large tenders of individual disparate systems, like just for an underground drainage, just for a treatment plant, just for the IoT solutions, if they can come out on a smaller packages of an end-to-end with a sustainable outcome base, that for next 5 years, you are supposed to continue to give me this output, this outcome. That makes it more viable for governments also to invest money and ensure that that money is not gone down the drain, and that solution is proven the test of the time.
मैं एक बात बताता हूँ आपको. हम हैदराबाद में और तेलंगाना में, in fact, we work over a longer period of time, Smita ji. We actually look at, see, even when we are laying a road, we work with the agencies there and we ensure that they actually take up the defect liability also for a period of 5 to 7 years.
Correct.
Because we know that when somebody is investing money and when somebody is actually, investing not just money but a lot of resources, other resources as well, they have to be accountable, and even the governments also have to take their own share of the burden. I completely agree with you, but I differ with you on one point. It's not always the governments that have to invest into projects. In fact, what we have to do, because there's no dearth of capital. There is the ICICI banks, there is the IndusInd banks, there is private equity out there who's wanting to support clean technologies, who's wanting to support sustainable development goals, etc. If we are able to fund and give opportunities to our entrepreneurs in a PPP mode or a BOT mode, I think that's the best thing that any government can do. Because end of the day, absolutely. In
I'm
fact,
not only talking about, sir, the STP plans, whatever request and the tenders are coming, they are coming with the maintenance. The completeness of the solution lies
End-to-end
from,
is what you're saying.
Yes, from home to the recycling of the treated water. Because they all come in separate pieces, disparate pieces, because of which they somewhere get lost in the chain. Either their cycle of execution is different, the STP would have been commissioned, but the network is not yet ready. Or the network is there and then it does not feed in, there is no STP to feed in. So if even a smaller cluster is taken a complete from home to the recycled water gets back to that home, that is what I think will make a more meaningful sense, and that has to be an outcome based, not
I
just
agree.
the STP.
I agree, but again, like I said, not every entrepreneur will be able to provide an end-to-end kind of solution. So therefore, what we do is we break it into modules. For instance, in Hyderabad, for example, we have gated communities and large apartments, hundreds and hundreds of apartments and thousands of apartments also. What we insist on them is that they actually set up their own sewage treatment plants. And then that treated water is let out into our sewage systems. Likewise, in cases where we have, large industrial parks, etc., we mandate as a responsibility towards the environment that they also do their share. So while what you say is theoretically correct, that we need to have end-to-end holistic kind of solution, it may not be possible each and every time, because while, see for instance, even the biggest of the companies out there, not just startups, but even the biggest of companies out there, will not have that kind of a complete end-to-end kind of handle. Then they'll have to enter into joint ventures with multiple people, and then the same thing will happen, whatever you just mentioned, each one doing their own modular piece, and it's coming together as a joint venture. So in theory, it's right, but in practicality, because I've been a minister now for 8 years looking after this department, I know that there are some hinges, some hitches in terms of implementing it practically. But I get your point. I get your passion. I get your point. Thank you. Thank you. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, in fact, our FSTPs, yeah, one city, one operator is what she's saying, but nobody may be able to have the end-to-end kind of thing. Thank you.
Mayor ma'am.
Sure. Pramila ji, namaskar. I think she deserves a big round of applause. Madam is from Kanpur. She's come all the way. Thank you, madam. Dhanyawad.
नमस्कार मंत्री जी और यहाँ पर आए हुए हमारे सभी समस्त।
आप ऊपर क्यों नहीं आती? ऊपर आइए। इधर आइए, स्पॉटलाइट।
भारत माता की, भारत माता की, वंदे वंदे। आए हुए यहाँ पर समस्त अपने महापौरों को मैं बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद देना चाहती हूँ। मैं धन्यवाद देना चाहती हूँ अपने मंत्री महोदय को, जिन्होंने हर सवाल का निस्तारण 1 मिनट में किया। इसलिए मैं इनको बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद देना चाहती हूँ कि ये इसी तरीके से बढ़ें, यही मेरा इनका आशीर्वाद है। मैं अपनी मेयर महोदया को बहुत धन्यवाद देना चाहती हूँ कि मैं आपके शहर में आई और आपने हमको 2 मिनट
शहर
बोलने
कैसा लगा
का
हमारा आपको?
मौका दिया।
शहर कैसा लगा हमारा?
शहर आपका अच्छा है, लेकिन एक बात मैं जरूर कहूँगी, यहाँ आकर अपने मेयरों से मैं इसको साझा करूँगी कि हम लोग इस भाग दौड़ की जिंदगी में भागते जा रहे हैं मशीन टाइप, लेकिन हम लोग आने वाली पीढ़ी के बारे में नहीं सोच रहे हैं। वो सबसे बड़ा ये है कि जो पानी, जो हमारा जल है, जिसको हमको बहुत ही जरूरी है कि उसको बना के संचय उसको रखें, क्योंकि पानी जल ही हमारा जीवन है, बगैर उसके जीवन नहीं है। लेकिन होता क्या है, अगर 1 लोटे पानी की जरूरत है तो हम 4 लोटा पानी खर्च करते हैं। हमको इसी पर सोचना है और इसी के बारे में समझना है कि हम अपने आने वाली पीढ़ी के लिए क्या छोड़ के जाएंगे। यही है कि हम पर्यावरण मुक्त कर दें, सब पर्यावरण के लिए पेड़ लगा दें। मैं तो ये कहती हूँ अपने शहर में, आप गंदगी मत साफ करिए, लेकिन गंदगी मत करिए, शहर अपने आप साफ रहेगा। मैं कहती हूँ कि आप गंगा जी को मत साफ करिए, किसी नदी को मत साफ करिए, लेकिन आप उनको गंदा मत करिए, वो अपने आप साफ हो जाएंगे। मैं कहती हूँ कि पेड़ मत लगाइए, आप एक पेड़ को मत काटिए, पेड़ अपने आप पैदा होकर के आपको ऑक्सीजन देगा और आप अच्छी जिंदगी जी पाएंगे। इन शब्दों के साथ मैं आपको बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद देना चाहती हूँ, अपनी वाणी को विराम देना चाहती हूँ। धन्यवाद। मुझे जाना है, इसलिए मुझे आपसे कहना, मैं
Thank you, प्रमिला जी,
अपने
बहुत बहुत
मंत्री जी को बहुत बहुत बधाई देना चाहती हूँ कि जो अपने शहर के कोई भी अगर उनसे कोई सवाल कर रहा तो 1 मिनट में उसका जवाब दे रहे हैं। इसलिए मैं अपने इस यंग बेटे को बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद देना।
थैंक यू, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। I think what she said is extremely commonsensical, but again, common sense is not very common. You know, I went to Japan, I went to Tokyo. प्रमिला जी, मैं कह रहा था कि आपने जो कहा एकदम, आप बैठिए तो, आप एकदम, आपने जो कहा बहुत कॉमन सेंस वाली पॉइंट है। मैं गया था जापान, टोक्यो, और मैं बिजनेस ट्रिप पे गया था। वहाँ जाके मैं घूम रहा हूँ, इधर उधर जा रहा हूँ, 2 दिन में इससे उससे बहुत कुछ मिल रहा हूँ, बट देखते जा रहा हूँ, क्योंकि मैं इंडस्ट्री का भी मंत्री हूँ। मैं तो इन्वेस्टमेंट के लिए गया था, बट ये भी देख रहा था कि क्या हो रहा है। देखता हूँ कि हर जगह साफ है। मैं 2 दिन देखा, फिर मेरे से रहा नहीं गया, तो मैंने एक वहाँ पे हमारे इंडियन एम्बेसी में जो एक जापानीज आदमी था, हमारा दोस्त बन गया था 2 दिन में, उसको मैंने पकड़ लिया। बोला कि भाई क्या करते हो तुम लोग, कितने बार साफ करते हो शहर? मैं तो देख नहीं रहा हूँ किसी को। तो 5 बार करते हो, 6 बार करते हो, कितने बार करते हो दिन में? वो हंस दिया, उसने कुछ नहीं बोला, हंस दिया। मैंने बोला ये क्या हो रहा है? आई सेड हाउ मेनी टाइम्स डू यू क्लीन? कुछ नहीं बोल रहा है। मैं बोला यार बता दे, क्योंकि हाउ डू यू कीप योर सिटी क्लीन, आप कैसे साफ रखते हो? तो उसने बताया क्या कहा कि हम लोग पहले तो इसमें गंद नहीं डालते हैं, हम लोग वी डोंट डर्टी इट इन द फर्स्ट प्लेस। दैट्स एग्जैक्टली व्हाट यू सेड, कि पहले अगर डर्टी ना करो, अगर गंद मत फैलाओ, तो फिर साफ करने की जरूरत ही नहीं पड़ेगी। सो माई रिक्वेस्ट टू यू एंड ऑल्सो आई थिंक टू ऑल ऑफ अस हु आर इन दिस रूम इज, आई थिंक वी हैव टू स्टार्ट ट्रेनिंग आवर नेक्स्ट जनरेशन। एज शी सेड, हम लोग तो बिगड़ गए, आई थिंक वी आर अ गॉन केस नाउ। We still throw everything outside, you know, when nobody is watching, we do things, you know, which we take for granted. And the same lot, I tell you, the funny part is, मुझे सबसे ताजुब की बात ये लगती है मैडम, मैं अपने छोटी सी बच्ची थी मेरी बेटी, आज वो 12-13 साल की है, बट जब वो 5 साल की थी उसको मैं ले गया एक बार सिंगापुर हॉलीडे पे। तो मैं उसको उतरते ही उसको मैंने वहाँ बोला कि यहाँ पे अगर तू कहीं चॉकलेट रैपर कहीं भी फेंक देगी ना तो वो लोग आके पकड़ के तेरे को ले जाएंगे, जेल में डाल देंगे। उसने बोला रियली? मैं बोला हाँ। तो फिर अगले 5 दिन तक हम लोग जब वहाँ पे थे, उसने एक बार भी अपना चॉकलेट रैपर कहीं नहीं फेंका। तो मैं क्या कह रहा हूँ, जो द थिंग्स दैट वी टेक फॉर ग्रांटेड हियर, द थिंग्स दैट वी डू हियर, एंड द सेम सेट ऑफ पीपल व्हेन वी गो आउट, वी आर एक्सट्रीमली वेल बिहेव्ड, वी आर डिफरेंट पीपल। आई थिंक वो जो इंडिया में टेक इट इजी, चलता है, सब चलता है एटीट्यूड है, आई थिंक दैट्स द प्रॉब्लम। बट इफ आई स्टार्ट लेविंग फाइन्स, इफ आई स्टार्ट लेविंग फाइन्स फॉर लिटरिंग, I'll be chastised by my opposition, by others, saying कि तुम क्या कर रहे हो। ट्रैफिक का मैं चालान डालता हूँ कोई ट्रैफिक वायलेशन पे, तो कोई एक आदमी आके बोलता है हैदराबाद इलेक्शन में कि सब माफ कर दूंगा। मैं क्या बोलूँ यार अब? आई एम ट्राइंग टू ब्रिंग इन अ सेंस ऑफ डिसिप्लिन। इट इज नॉट फॉर माई ओन सेक, इट इज फॉर द सेक ऑफ द सिटी, फॉर द सेक ऑफ द सिटीजन्स, बट इवन दैट इज बीइंग looked at politically. So that's the kind of country and interesting country we live in. So I think next generation, मैं जैसा बोल रहा हूँ next generation तो थोड़ा मुश्किल है, but next gen, I think we have to catch them young, train them well, start teaching them the basics of, living in a civilized society. Only then things will change. And I request you all to start at home and then possibly